Hey everyone, I want to draw your attention to something I thought was really interesting. And it is, in my own research and studies, has a lot to do with Hermetic philosophy and the universe. But if you guys remember the Tether incident a long time ago, STS 75, where a tether broke loose and there were all these things flying in the background, and they never really mentioned much of it. And then, of course, they said later on that they were ice crystals. And just to kind of give you an example of what they look like, they were these guys, if you remember. Okay, and here's a really good picture of one right here, kind of the way they look. Looks like a disc with a hole in the middle, and then you have these little notches in the end of them. And these were all flying around and in the view of this tether that was out there. Now, they say that they were ice crystals moving across the screen, but you can actually see them making turns and stuff like that sometimes. They're different sizes, but they also morph as they move around. For example, one notch may close up and two may open up on the other end, and you can see it actually happening in this footage that you see right here. If you go and take a look at them, you can see these guys in the way that they're shaped with the little notch. And you see how some of them, the notches will close up. And you'll have to go probably take a look at this for yourself, so I don't waste your whole time looking for a particular thing I'm talking about. But you'll notice as they move across the screen, one notch may close up and it may open up in another area. And they seem to exhibit what almost appears to be a biological type form, because they're morphing in a way that looks something like an amoeba or something like that. Okay, so anyway, these guys are all flying around. So anyways, there's this video that just came out, and it's this guy right here on Leak Project, and he's interviewing this guy named Steve Olson. Well, Steve Olson happens to capture something very interesting in the background, and I took a couple of snapshots of it, and I want to show you the comparison of what he's got here to what I'm going to show you. So
I'm going to let it play because it will just confuse everybody, but basically here that thing is stationary, okay? That's what I'd expect to see an atmosphere to look like, okay?
Now that's what he's talking about right there. And this is the sun in the video, and it's moving across this object. Now, if you take a look at these pink things that are coming out from the sun, they also exhibit something very similar to the characteristic of what we see right here, but just keep your eye on this.
The red dots are part of some kind of something around the sun that we've been photographing quite often.
And there's your notch. You're going to get a much better view of it here in a second.
Right by this thing. Now you tell me that's a lens flare, and I might have to plead. I might have to get a plea deal, because look at this thing. You can see it just stay stationary, and he's freaking out. He's going, "What the heck is that?" Because the sun moves right past it. Now he's going to pan back out again here in a second, so we can see it relative to the whole picture.
Now, do you see? You've got the whole disc here. You've got this hole in the middle, and then you've got this notch right here. Now, what I did was I took some snapshots of this, and I'll show you. So let me show you what this guy's captured here. So these are different frames of that movie we were just looking at, and you can see it really good here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just enhance it real quick. And I'm just going to concentrate on a dark area so that everything else stands out. And if we zoom in on it, you can see that we've got, let me just copy one of these other guys right here so you can see. So here's an example of a picture of what this Tether UFO design, that they're calling it a UFO, looks like over here next to the Tether. And you can see the shape of this thing. And then here is what we see from his video. And you can see the notch in it, the hole, and this thing. You're looking at the exact same thing. Now here's the difference. The difference is I believe that these things are not UFOs. I believe they are living organisms And I believe they're very large living organisms. So I went out to look for similar organisms and related to that particular thing. And let me just show you again. We'll take that and this is a different one of the same kind of thing. And we're just going to find a dark area. And you can see it again. There's your notch. Comes around. You got that hole right there. Here's another one. We'll do it again. And it's right there. And if you compare that to what you see right here, you're looking at the same thing. Okay, so I went to this and found this website, which I think is really interesting, where somebody agreed with what I think, and I think that these are organisms because, like I said, when they move across the screen on that STS 75 video, they change direction and all that. They flash, but they also morph like an amoeba of some sort. It's like to me, it would be like some huge microorganism of space is what it seems like it is. And so here this is he's captured a picture of that in behind the sun. Now, why would it be behind the sun? Why not anywhere else? For some reason, the sun makes it glow, or if it has any intelligence at all, then perhaps it knows that people can't see it when it's near the sun or as easily. But this is obvious proof that we're looking at the same thing. They all have that general characteristic of the notch with this circle cut out of the middle of it. And in the STS video, it tends to flash sometimes as well. So then I came across that one of those images took me to this page in psdigest.com. NASA served with lawsuit over extraterrestrial life. And it's calling the extremophiles, microbes, and censorship, and it's calling them alien bugs in Earth's atmosphere. And they're like 200 miles up, and I'll leave a link to this for you as well, but they're drawing some conclusions. These are the same conclusions I draw when I look at these things. These things look like they are alive. They don't look like some UFO which would have aliens inside of it or something like that. They act to me as if they are living organisms, whether they be like comparison to like a blood cell in our body compared to the larger organism, which is where hermetics comes in. And this is kind of what I envision, because to me, when I look at the larger organism, which is the universe in our physical realm, I see the Orion Nebula or the nebula as the area which is the brain or the head. And then we have the stars, which seem to represent the heart of the system or so forth. And then we have all these other things floating around as well, like with these things, which are probably microbes of the larger universe. So I think what we are seeing here is, I think we are seeing something that is alive. And they're very, very large. And I think that that guy captured a perfect image of one. Once again, here we go. Here it is. This is what he captured next to the sun compared to the actual image of what we see these things look like when they're flying next to the tether. So go check out the STS-75 incident. Check out the way these things look. Compare it to what you see in the video I'm going to leave you. You'll find his clip on this particular thing in somewhere around the 22-minute mark. And do the comparisons for yourself. Do some snapshots, bring it in, and do the enhancement I showed you so that everything else pops out. And you'll see that he's captured the exact same thing that we see in STS-75. So there is life out there. It's just not like what we think it's supposed to look like. And so perhaps there is some that is, but there's definitely life out there, just like what we're seeing right here. I know this is something that has some kind of a living organism. It's got to be. And this is what we might expect to see when we think of things in a larger sense, hermetically and so forth. So anyways, you guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon.